Hey folks, George here from Spaceman with Guns again, coming to you a little late this week on my weekly update. Had kind of a ordeal to deal with on Sunday. Someone decided it'd be a good idea to run around my neighborhood slashing tires, so I had a couple of tires I needed to have fixed slash replaced on Sunday, and just some other stuff just getting in the way. So this week, or basically progress for last week, was mostly Cestus work, most work on the ass ram, mostly work on the ass ram again. Did get some more work done on Big Bad Bobby G. Can't really tell, but his power sword's got a little bit of a blue glaze there. His armor's pretty much done. I know you guys won't be able to see this too well, especially with my ugly mug in the background. But his armor's pretty well done. Just a few little details to pick out on his backpack. And Bobby G will be complete. I need to do this little screen here, kind of glaze up some highlights a little bit more. Excuse me. And then I need to start working on his base, which I know I said I was going to do like 2 weeks ago. So here's where I've got started on the base so far. This is a 40 mil base, and I've got, you can kind of see that's tread plate, which is just some stock plastic from Plastruct that I picked up at my local hobby shop. And then of course there's the Dead Heretic Astartes from the Guilliman base, from the 40k base. I figured that'd work well enough for a Galvor back. So I just need to make some intestines and stuff to kind of fill that cavity there. Yeah, right there. To fill that void in and make it look like a nice dead turd bear. Just the way I like them. Also working away on the Suzerain. There's just a lot of detail on those guys. It is ridiculous. Like here's one of the shields. I've only painted half of it. It's really tough to focus, but trying to actually paint the inside of that is near impossible. And again, that ultramarine symbol actually has some gold trim around it, which is going to have to be all cleaned up because it's a pain. And of course, I haven't even started painting anything on the inside. So quite a bit of work to do there. And then, of course, painted the gold over the brass on one of the heads. I know, you guys can't really see the detail because I'm just using my phone. It doesn't focus very well. But I have put another layer of gray on the ultramarine symbols on the bodies of 3 out of 5. So that's pretty good. So, but like as well, I've got 3 of the bases mocked up for the Suzerain. They're going to match Guilliman pretty well. So, again, these are just the 32 mils with that tread plate. On one of them, I decided to have a little fun, make it look like a piece of decking was blown out, like on McCragg's Honor. So you can see all that stuff. That was actually a real bitch to put together. But you can see there's a hole through and some wiring and tubing and stuff like that. So that'll look pretty cool once it's painted up. So, like I said, the Caestus was kind of the order of the week last week. Mainly just trying to get paint off. And pretty good. Sanding, scraping, and stuff. Even went so far as to get one of these, which if you are not familiar, this is an air eraser. It is very similar to an airbrush in that it uses compressed air to force stuff out through a very tiny aperture. You won't even be able to see that. In my case, I used baking soda. Now, this did actually come with some aluminum oxide powder. That would have been way too much for... oh, hey, that's still got baking soda in it. You can see there's a hopper with baking soda in it, which air gets forced up through here, and then it forces the baking soda down into this tube here, out this nozzle, which will then actually, baking soda will act as an abrasive and will strip paint without damaging the underlying material, as long as you don't hold it in the same place for too long. I was able to get some paint off with this. You can see it's just a single action. You just push down and get pressure, get particulate. I had some success, not as much as I would have liked. There's pictures of that on the Instagram, or on my Instagram as well. The thing about it is you need to maintain a fairly high pressure constantly. My airbrush compressor can do it, but my airbrush compressor is not designed to be run constantly at 50 psi. It also automatically shuts off at 56. The max pressure for the tool is 65. So doing that with the airbrush compressor works. It's just, it runs the risk of burning it out over extended periods of time. So I didn't want to do that. So the next night I tried it with my big, well, not big, my shop compressor that has a 1 gallon tank. Problem with that is, again, couldn't maintain enough pressure. I could get the pressure that I needed. I just have to wait for the tank to refill, and I'd lose pressure in the meantime. It just wasn't doing a very good job. They recommend you have a compressor that has a tank of 30 gallons so you can actually maintain the pressure, and I can see why they do that. So I actually traded a guy who's in my IPMS club, the IPMS Des Moines, the Hawkeye Modelers. I traded him a couple of 4 quarter scale aircraft kits that I wasn't ever going to do anything with, and he's actually soda blasting the last of the paint off the Caestus, which he's got a much better setup than I do for that. So hopefully have that back soon with all the paint taken off, or as much of the paint as physically can come off, and then I can start working on that. Because honestly, the Guilliman is almost done. The Suzerain are just a lot of detail, and it's just going to take me some time to not get cranky and hate all that detail. You know, if I'm going to get this done, I got to pretty much just take my time at it. I don't have a whole lot else to do. I think I might have added a 5-man. I think what I did with my list is I took out the regular Vindicator, which is kind of sad because Jamie built it, so I wanted to use it against him. But I took out the regular Vindicator and actually put in a 5-man tactical support squad with rotor cannons in a Rhino. So that means I have to build 5 more. But I'm looking at about 5 months to do this, so maybe we'll see. I don't know. But other stuff, I've been thinking about how I want to do the base, excuse me, for the Caestus and how to run my lighting. So here's the base for the Caestus in its current form. It's actually a lot smaller than I thought they were. I thought the flight stands were a lot bigger. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to use this. I might try to find something bigger and get just a piece of brass tubing and use that as the base, and then just kind of, I don't know, get a bigger base. But the idea I had was to build sort of a false top, where I'm thinking maybe use some of this deck plate stuff here, because it comes in giant sheets. Hang on just a second. I can't get to it. But it comes in giant, like 11 by 8.5 by 11 sheets. So more than enough, and then build some sort of structure underneath it so that I could fit the battery and fitting under there and the switches and everything, because you can see this battery actually takes up a fair amount of space on here. But just build like a false deck plate. And since it is Guilliman's ride, make it look like it's coming into a landing bay or something on a spacecraft. So that'd be kind of cool. And I could maybe just fill in the bottom of it with stuff around the edge so you don't necessarily see the battery and the connection and everything. The other reason I want to use a piece of brass rod is to run the wiring down. Because I was at my IPMS club meeting last Tuesday night, and I was discussing with the members, so I was showing them the Caestus in pieces that I was going to try to light it. And my original plan was to try and fit the power source inside the model. And, then, of course, brought up the associated problems that's going to have, just thinning out the resin and trying to cut stuff out without breaking it. Well, somebody suggested that I get just like one of those single pin connectors, like you'd use for AV or some earbuds that you plug into your phone. And I was like, that's not a bad idea. And I started thinking about it because I'd been looking through the LEDs that my local hobby shop, Hobby Haven in Clive, Iowa, stocks. All they had were 7 to 19 volt LEDs. I wanted 3 volt, and I had, a bunch of other stuff. I started thinking about it. It's like, that's not a bad idea. Then I wouldn't have to worry about putting the power source inside the model. I could get one of those miniature 2-pin connectors, and then I could just run the wires out the flight stand. And I could put a 9-volt battery in the base, which means I can get all the LEDs and stuff that I need locally. Hey, that's a great idea. So at the end of the meeting, I went back to the rack, and I'll kind of show you guys all the supplies that I currently have for the lighting setup. So I actually picked up this miniature 2-pin connector. You can see here it's, yeah. Just got to be careful. I don't want to break anything. But yeah, just a miniature 2-pin connector. See that a little bit better. So I'll actually run these up through the flight stand and out of the model. I can plug it in. Of course, leave enough slack on each of the lines that it doesn't pull on it or anything. So that kind of solves the power dilemma we were having. And then last Friday, put in an order for a few more things. Stuff to make it run and some other stuff just kind of for fun, because I think now I'm going to put some other LEDs in, whatever. Okay, so I got my 9-volt battery plug up there, some 2-position switchers. I think I've got 4 of them. Got those in my local store. Got the battery connector from modeltrainsoftware.com. You guys can see here. It's Evan Designs. They make great stuff. All the LEDs I have are actually from them. Because my local hobby shop actually stocks their product, which is pretty cool. It also came with this cool business card, which has an HO scale ruler, an O scale ruler, and on the back side it's got an N scale ruler and also all the LED sizes. I'm using Nano. They're fairly tiny. It's kind of cool. I have a couple of green LEDs. I just have 2. And what I think I'm going to actually do with these is put these inside along with the flashing red ones to be like the everything is normal, and then the flashing red when it's go time, let's go murder some bitches kind of thing. These are some blue LEDs that I had prior to starting this project. I've had these for about a year for no apparent reason, and I wanted some LEDs for another project that never came about. Here's the flashing red that we will be using on the interior of the Caestus. And then, of course, just some plain old shrink tubing. I mean, nothing too special. So that should be everything I need to actually make this project work. And some, of course, the 9-volt. So I'll give you guys a quick demonstration here. Oh, wait. Also have 50 feet of 30 AWG magnet wire. So this will extend all my leads and everything to make sure I have enough wiring to make everything work. My kids think this is the coolest thing ever. I think it's pretty cool too, to be honest. So you can see, here's the actual, I only need one of these actually. Okay, so you can kind of see it up against my beard. This is the actual LED. It's pretty tiny, which is pretty cool. It has these 2 red and green leads come down to here, which has a bridge rectifier and a resistor. And then the 2 wires coming out of that, the leads that will go to the power supply. So, and I've done some experimenting with these to figure out how to rig up the switches and everything, and that's kind of interesting. So, you can see just how bright that is. I mean, that is bright. And there's the back side. And it kind of shows up against my shirt here. A little better. Yeah, look at that. Here, watch this. Now you can see just how bright that is up against my... Yeah, no, I'm having a little fun with this, guys. Okay, so with these, it's as simple as just hooking it on or just touching the leads to the terminals on the battery. So there we go again. Well, here's the thing. The polarity doesn't so much even matter because I just switched around the leads and it still lights up. So these ones I think I'm actually going to stick inside as well. There'll only be 1 in each nacelle, and those will just kind of be for more fun. I'm going to rig them to a separate switch because I don't want to always have something on and something off, because I could do that with the switches I have. I just don't really want to rig them up like that. So yeah, but so that's kind of the stuff that I've been working on this week. I'll show you guys the red LEDs real quick. Yeah, I'll show you guys the red LEDs real quick because they're pretty cool. I was going to put in an order with Forge World, but things didn't work out finance-wise, so I'm going to have to wait on that. It was not for anything 30K related. I've always wanted a Vulture gunship with the twin Punisher cannons. So I was going to order myself one of those for my birthday. Well, that didn't happen. But I also kind of want to start an Elysian drop troop army to go with my red scorpions, which I think would be pretty cool and fluffy. So there we go. So there's our flashing red LED. Pretty cool. And again, it's the same brightness. And you guys, I will add the clip of these to the end of this video. So that's been the last week, and going into this next week, I'll probably be back to my regular Sunday schedule here coming up soon. So yeah, it'll probably be Guilliman and the Suzerain this week. So I don't know if I'll have the Caestus back by the end of this week. It might not be for a couple of weeks, just judging on a few things. So that's what's been going on this past week. It hasn't really been leaps and bounds forward on anything. It's just a matter of trying to tackle all the stuff coming my way. As well, anyone that's interested in the podcast, new host is set up. We have our RSS feed changed on Google Play, on Player FM. Don't have any episodes uploaded to the new host yet, but the next episode we do will probably be there, which might not be till after the 1st of November, because I kind of just want to get rid of the old RSS feed and get started with the new one. I have not had any luck getting iTunes to change our RSS feed yet, but hopefully we'll get that happen soon. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Definitely let me know if there's any questions, concerns, or comments you have. Definitely follow us on Instagram. We are at SMWG Podcast, and join our Facebook group to kind of get the skinny on everything else that's going down. So thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.